Most people think buying a new car every few years is just a lifestyle choice. But here's what nobody tells you. It's one of the most expensive financial decisions you will ever make. And the scary part? Most people do it without ever running the numbers. Today, we are going to break down the real math. No fluff, no car dealership tricks, just cold, hard numbers that will completely change how you think about your next vehicle purchase. Stay with me until the end, because the final comparison is going to surprise you. Welcome back to the channel. If you are serious about building real wealth and keeping more money in your own pocket, you are in the right place. Today's topic hits close to home for almost everyone, because almost everyone owns a car. We are comparing two very different approaches to car ownership. Person A buys a brand new car every 5 years. Person B buys one car and drives it for 15 years. Same time period, same roads, very different financial outcomes. Let's get into it. Before we compare anything, we need to understand what a new car actually costs you. Most people look at the sticker price and think that's the number. It's not even close. Let's say you buy a new mid-range car for $35,000. That's a reasonable price for today's market. First, there's depreciation. The moment you drive that car off the lot, it loses roughly 10 to 15% of its value instantly. In the first year alone, most new cars depreciate by about 20%. By year 3, you've lost nearly 40% of the original purchase price. That's not a small number. That's $14,000 gone, just from the car sitting in your driveway and aging. Then there's financing. Most buyers don't pay cash, they take out a loan. On a $35,000 car at a 7% interest rate over 60 months, you're paying close to $7,000 in interest alone. That brings the real cost of that car to over $42,000 before you've paid for a single gallon of fuel. Now add insurance. A new vehicle typically costs $1,500 to $2,000 per year in full coverage insurance. Over 5 years, that's another $7,500 to $10,000 out of your pocket. Registration fees, taxes, and dealership charges add a few thousand more depending on where you live. Let's round it conservatively. The true out-of-pocket cost of owning a brand new $35,000 car for 5 years, including depreciation loss, loan interest, and insurance, sits comfortably around $50,000 to $55,000. That's roughly $10,000 per year just to own a car. Let that number settle for a moment. Now let's look at person A's full 15-year journey. They buy new every 5 years. 3 cars, total over 15 years. Using our earlier estimate, $50,000 real cost per vehicle, that's $150,000 spent over 15 years just on vehicles alone. But here's the part people consistently ignore. What if they had invested even a portion of that money instead of spending it on a depreciating machine? Let's say they had redirected just $500 per month, which is actually less than a typical new car loan payment today, into a basic index fund earning an average of 8% annually. Over 15 years, that $500 per month grows to approximately $173,000. Person A chose cars. Person A has gone through 3 vehicles over 15 years, all of which are now worth very little or have been traded in, and they have $150,000 less in their financial picture because of it. Now let's look at person B. Person B also buys a new car for $35,000, but they make a different decision. They drive it for 15 years. The first 5 years look similar to person A. Loan payments, depreciation, insurance. The real cost of that first ownership phase is roughly $50,000, same as person A in that window. But here is exactly where the math shifts dramatically in person B's favor. After year 5, person B's car is paid off. No more monthly loan payments. They keep driving. Maintenance increases slightly as the car gets older. Let's budget $2,000 per year for oil changes, tires, brakes, and general repairs. That's actually a generous estimate. A properly maintained car doesn't require dramatic or unpredictable spending. Insurance also drops significantly on an older vehicle. Instead of $1,800 per year, they might be paying $900 to $1,000 annually. So from year 6 through year 15, person B is spending approximately $3,000 per year on their vehicle. That's the full picture. Compare that to person A, who is spending $10,000 per year on theirs. The gap is $7,000 per year. Over 10 years, that's $70,000 in raw savings. Now, what if person B invests that $7,000 annual difference into the market? At 8% average annual returns over 10 years, that becomes approximately $101,000. Person B ends the 15-year period with over $100,000 in investable wealth that person A simply does not have. Let's put this side by side so the picture is completely clear. Over 15 years, person A buys new every 5 years. Total vehicle spending comes to $150,000. Their investment account from redirected vehicle savings is zero. The net result is 3 old or traded-in cars and $150,000 spent with nothing left to show for it financially. Over the same 15 years, person B buys 1 car and drives it the full distance. Total vehicle spending comes to approximately $80,000 all in. Their investment account, built from redirected savings, is $100,000 or more. The net result is 1 paid-off functioning car and a 6-figure investment account. The gap between these two people after 15 years is potentially $100,000 or more in real, accessible wealth. That is the difference between a full down payment on a home, a well-funded retirement account, or an entirely covered college education for a child, versus 3 vehicles sitting in various driveways losing value every single day of every single year. Now, I know what some of you are already thinking. Let me address the most common objections directly. The first one: older cars break down more and cost more to repair. This is partially true, but it is dramatically overstated. Modern vehicles built after 2010 routinely reach 200,000 miles or more with basic, consistent maintenance. The average annual repair cost on a well-maintained 10-year-old car is still far less than a single month of new car loan payments. You would need an extraordinarily expensive and repeated series of repairs to break even with the financial cost of buying new every 5 years. The second objection: new cars are safer. Safety technology has genuinely improved. That's a fair point. But vehicles from 2015 onward already include multiple airbags, electronic stability control, collision warnings, lane departure alerts, and backup cameras. The marginal safety improvement of a brand new 2025 model over a well-maintained 2015 model does not justify $50,000 in additional lifetime spending for the vast majority of drivers. The third objection: I need a reliable car for work. Reliability is not exclusive to new vehicles. A well-maintained aging car is often far more dependable than people give it credit for. And if reliability is genuinely critical to your income, the smarter move is to maintain a dedicated emergency fund for unexpected repairs. Even with that cushion built in, you will still come out significantly ahead financially compared to buying new. The fourth objection: but I can afford it. Being able to afford something and making it your wisest financial decision are 2 entirely separate things. The goal of smart personal finance is not just to survive today's expenses. The goal is to build real, compounding, lasting wealth over time. That requires making deliberate choices about where your money flows, and a new car every 5 years is a very expensive river to pour it into. Here's something worth thinking about. Many genuinely wealthy individuals, not the ones who appear wealthy, but the ones who have actually built lasting net worth, tend to drive older, understated vehicles. This is not because they cannot afford something new. It is because they understand a fundamental financial principle. A car is a depreciating asset. It loses value every single day it exists. It does not generate income. It does not grow. It does not compound. It simply costs money to own and then costs more money to replace. People who build real wealth tend to keep their capital in assets that work for them: real estate, businesses, equities, things that grow over time. They do not park large sums of money in a machine that loses 20% of its value in year 1 and continues declining from there. The people you see driving brand new premium vehicles every 2 or 3 years are often the ones with the thinnest actual balance sheets beneath the surface. Appearances and financial reality are frequently opposites. That's one of the oldest truths in personal finance. So what is the real takeaway from all of this? Buying a new car every 5 years is not simply a preference or a personality choice. It is a wealth leak. a slow, consistent, largely invisible drain that most people never measure because they are too focused on whether they can handle the monthly payment. The monthly payment is not the cost. The total lifetime cost is the cost. And when you calculate the full picture, depreciation, interest, insurance, opportunity cost of uninvested money, the numbers are genuinely hard to ignore. Person B does not sacrifice quality of life by driving one car longer. They have a vehicle. It runs well. It gets them everywhere they need to go. What they gain in exchange for a slightly older car is financial momentum that quietly compounds in the background year after year. That financial momentum becomes real wealth. If you are currently in the cycle of upgrading every few years, this is not about judgment. It is about awareness. Now you have seen the actual numbers laid out clearly. The best financial decisions are rarely the most exciting ones. They are the consistent, patient, mathematically grounded ones. They are made by people who understand long-term thinking. Small redirections in spending, sustained over time, produce enormous differences in outcome. That is how wealth is actually built, slowly and consistently. Drive the car longer, invest the difference, let the gap grow. That is the real math. And now you know it. The numbers speak for themselves. If this gave you a new perspective on how you think about vehicles and wealth, drop a comment below and let me know where you stand. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit that button because we break down real personal finance strategy every single week. No noise, no gimmicks, just the numbers that actually matter. See you in the next one.